Warning: the following story contains disturbing content and is not suitable for all audiences. Reader discretion is advised. It was a dreary Wednesday afternoon when the news broke out. A student had gone on a killing spree at a local university. The details were scarce at first, but as the day progressed, the magnitude of the horror became clear. The student, whose name was Jacob, was a quiet and unassuming young man. He had always kept to himself and had never been known to cause any trouble. But something had snapped inside him, and he had armed himself with a knife and set out on a rampage. The death toll climbed higher and higher as the hours passed. Students and faculty alike were caught off guard, and many were unable to escape in time before Jacob caught up with them. The police were called, but by the time they arrived, it was too late for many. The news spread quickly, and soon the entire nation was transfixed by the horror unfolding at the university. The police launched a manhunt for Jacob, but he seemed to have disappeared into thin air. Days turned into weeks, and the search for Jacob continued. The police combed through his social media accounts and home, looking for any clues as to what could have caused him to snap. But all they found were the usual things: pictures of his family, his dog, and a few posts about his studies. But then, a breakthrough came. A friend of Jacob's had come forward, saying that he had spoken to her the night before the killings and had seemed strangely distant. She had brushed it off at the time, but looking back, she realized that something had been seriously wrong. The police dug deeper, and what they found was chilling. Jacob had been struggling with mental health issues for years, but had been too afraid to seek help. He had become increasingly isolated and had fixated on the idea that he was a failure. In his mind, the only way out was to take the lives of others and then his own. The search for Jacob intensified, but he remained elusive. It seemed as though he had vanished into thin air. But then, a tip came in from a small town on the outskirts of the city. A woman had reported seeing a man who matched Jacob's description lurking around the outskirts of town. The police descended on the area, searching door to door, but found nothing. As they were about to give up, a farmer called in, saying that he had found a man sleeping in his barn. The police rushed to the scene, and there, in the dim light of the barn, they found Jacob. He was arrested without incident, and as he was led away, he looked lost and confused. It was clear that his mind had been broken by what he had done. In the aftermath, the university community was left reeling. The families of the victims struggled to come to terms with their loss, and the students were left with a sense of unease that would linger for years to come. Jacob was eventually tried and convicted of multiple counts of murder. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. But for those who had been affected by his actions, the scars would never truly heal.